What is it again? Episode 20? I think it's episode 26 of the
Yay!
world's least professional podcast, which is apparently named Radio Rothingham. So
Are you
today,
sure?
I'm pretty sure. I just looked at. 25 is a pretty convenient number, so.
No, I
it's
mean, are
just
you sure this is a podcast?
Well, in the loosest sense, it is because to be a proper podcast, you need to have like a podcast feed and the RSS
Mm-hmm.
stuffs. And no, we're not doing any of that.
People still use RS.
Well,
RSS.
I think most podcasts use RSS to distribute themselves. But
I
then
thought
again,
most of them.
everyone just has internet all the time,
I thought most of them use iTunes.
and that too. I think that's where it started, but you don't necessarily need to use
But
iTunes.
then people realized that iTunes are an Apple thing.
Exactly. So they were like, "Fuck you, Apple! We just do the whole RSS thing, which is much easier to implement, and there's no central body that needs to approve your podcast."
No, you just need to have a fat computer with a big pipe full of podcast.
Yep.
Yes.
Just take a dump truck and just dump all the podcasts in there, and then just shove them all in your mouth. Just
God
consume
damn it,
them.
Artrix. The internet's not a big truck.
It's not
It's a
a
series
big
of
dump truck
tubes.
that you dump stuff on. The internet is a series of tubes. Anyways, let's just get into it right away because the last week has been.
Shut up,
very-
Artrix. You're not allowed to talk anymore. I'm going to censor you, just like the Japanese developers are refusing to sell their games everywhere else.
India everywhere else. I think this is a story that I haven't heard of, so go ahead, tell us about it.
Well, the company that made Tekken, they've made a lovely VR game called Summer Lesson, and it's a terrible, horrible weeboo game where you flirt with people and then probably have really awkward visual novel relationships, and there probably isn't even any hardcore porn, which makes it terrible.
It's even more terrible than I thought.
I can get much better for free off the internet. But that's not the point. The point is, they're not even going to bother trying to sell it in non-Japanese markets because they're preemptively afraid of social justice backlash and people complaining about there not being enough representation, and probably also about the whole idea of dating people is offensive because that's rape, obviously. At least I've been told basically everything is rape. Talking to women on the street is rape. Hugging women is rape. Kissing women is rape.
Well, that's extreme rape.
Consensual sex is rape. Going to a bar is rape. Drinking with a person is rape.
Well, when having sex, you need to get at least one consent per second.
I'm pretty sure about the only thing that isn't classified as rape by these people is probably rape, but when it's done to a man.
Or by brown people.
Yeah, that's true too.
Or turquoise people.
If you're a Muslim, you can get away with pretty much everything now. Nothing counts.
It's because Muslims are higher on the operations stack.
But really, it's horrible. All these companies are coming out making lovely games for the VR systems, trying to grind up popularity of this new kind of interface for video gaming, and they're just immediately saying, no, we're not going to sell this to you because people who aren't going to buy a €700 headset will complain about it. Like, only the most hardcore of gamers or the biggest weeaboos are going to buy these headsets to play these terrible games. So I don't think ideological social justice warriors are actually that big of an intersection of that customer base. So why not sell us the terrible Japanese weeboo games? Why? I want to play it just out of curiosity now that I've heard it's not being sold here.
Well, yeah, it's not the first instance because well, most of us are probably aware of the whole left or alive extreme volleyball game.
Left, left or alive extreme. I
Left.
think you were. I think you're going for Dead or Alive Extreme Beach Volleyball, the
Dead,
third
left,
installment.
right, yeah, but so yeah, this is another instance of a Japanese company just flat out saying no, we're not gonna bother because it's easier for us to just not sell it in the West than to go ahead and try and sell it and face all the backlash.
Mm-hmm.
And
Which
I
is
mean,
sad.
I mean, for the Dead or Alive beach volleyball game, they said that yeah, the U.S. market is actually bigger, and we actually sold more copies to the West than we did domestically in Japan.
It's true.
So yeah,
Apparently, Americans and Europeans like watching girls play volleyball on the beach.
mhm.
I
I'm not
don't
saying
really
it
get
was a
it.
massive amount, but
I don't understand.
it makes financial sense to sell it in Europe and America.
It's a pretty niche title, honestly.
It is.
In fact, most of these sexy games are pretty niche.
Yep. So now these people are being denied a game because, well, yeah, they basically the publishers basically pressured into just not selling it in Europe.
But
Like, don't.
I don't think they're even getting that much direct pressure. I think they're just reading Kotaku and deciding it's a bad idea. Which is the saddest thing.
Well, Kotaku says so. Come on.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, the Kotaku isn't biased. Source Kotaku.
Wouldn't you really think that somebody would go to the internet and wrote an article full of lies?
Or several. Continuously, like all the time.
A quote from oh god, I can't pronounce his name. Sullivanera Herdera. When you think about the current game situation and the climate in different countries where you this is kind of broken English and hard to read. When you think no, I'm reading it directly. This is his quote. When you think about the current game situation and the climate in different countries where you have to have characters from every different race or nationality, someone else will say mine's not included, which is the climate we are currently seeing with gamers. Since there are people who can't set aside the game and the actual problems in society, I don't want to open that can of worms.
This poor man is clearly mistaken. He said it's a problem with gamers.
Mm-hmm. And it really isn't. It's a problem with Kotaku and Polygon and Games Journos Pro. All these social justice light gaming journalists who think they're changing the world by saying no boobs.
Mm-hmm.
What's even?
Well, yeah, obviously boobs are very
so bad about
problematic.
Yes, problematic.
Apparently, Blizzard patched some of their male characters to give them better asses.
Oh, that's equality. That's equality. I like
Just
that.
to have salt in the wound.
Just to salt in the butt.
Blizzard are being kind of weird with their flip flopping or whether they're pandering to social justice or not.
They're doing the complete opposite.
Yeah, first they remove a butt, then they add 3 butts.
Not just that, but when they did change the whole tracer pose, it was basically just straight up pin up. Like everyone's cheering like yay, or at least the people that had an interest in the removal, they were like yay, they removed that awful objectifying pose, and it's now more It's more in character and shit, and it's not as sexy. Then 20 seconds later, someone's like, look at this. That's a World War II pin-up poster. Doesn't that pose look kinda familiar? Like, it's almost as if that pose, is the same as this World War II pin-up poster. It's the same thing. The other thing was just the original pose. So yeah, you're pretty much looking at a pin-up pose.
Mm-hmm. I'm pretty sure pin-ups are designed to be provocative.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm pretty sure Soldier 76 has a pose when he's looking over his shoulder.
Oh, they do. It's just, he's wearing baggy pants, so it doesn't count.
But he needs more butt, obviously.
Mm-hmm. I think it was. I actually don't know which character they gave more butt to on the male side. He's wearing some kind of spandex, so it was easy for them to just add more butt crack.
Well, there's a few of them that wear spandex sixes.
Mm-hmm.
Well,
they should just give all the characters butt poses, every single one of them.
Yep. If you want to have equality, then everything should be butts.
Or you should give Tracer a burqa. Now that's a picture I've seen.
I'm sure they're coming.
Well, I'm sure there has been some Tumblr right that compiled a list of all the Overwatch characters in burqas.
I found a picture. Feel free to display it in the stream.
All right.
I don't know.
Oh God, I see it. It exists. Anyways.
Well, it makes sense. She's British.
It's true.
God.
They'll be all wearing burqas in Britain soon enough.
Speaking of Britain, a thing happened over there yesterday.
Yes. Where the news?
You exist?
Okay. Astra, you're the British, so go ahead. Tell us what it's all about and why should we care?
Well, I already know it briefly because I haven't been watching the news much, but one of the Labour MPs has been murdered horribly, stabbed to death.
Yes, stabbed.
Due to someone being so highly about leaving the EU, I believe. I don't know all the ins and outs. You'd know more than me, to be honest.
Well, that's just more of a reason to leave you.
It's someone that's really passionate for the country, saying keep Britain pure or something. He said something while killing her.
Make Britain great again.
Yeah, make Great Britain again.
Yes.
Great Britain. Yeah, I get it.
I think they were against the. I think the shooter was against Britain being in the EU and taking in all the Muslim immigrants they are about to take in. And apparently that MP was for those things.
Well, that makes sense
Lost her life
considering
for it.
that he targets said MP.
I see the point in the stabbing.
Mm-hmm. Well, it is pretty horrible that people are running up and shooting and stabbing people with homemade guns. It just goes to show that it doesn't matter what the gun laws in your country are like. People will still go and make a gun if they really want to kill someone.
Obviously.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
But that's
obviously when EU bans all the guns, right?
Yep, it will get rid of all the guns. I'm sure.
It will definitely stop people from using all sorts of weapons to murder each other.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I could never imagine someone, say, stealing a truck and driving down a busy footpath or anything like that. That would never happen.
At least you can't use nunchucks.
And do you ever remember those videos that used to be on America's Wildest Police Chases? That one where the guy stole the semi and drove through like 50 city blocks, just running into everything that got in his way, and nothing stopped him because he was in a giant truck.
I remember those.
It's not like anyone could just do that, right?
I
No.
want a truck.
Or get a bus. I'm a
But
bus.
that- but
I'm
that's
a
right.
bus. Fuck you, I'm a bus.
Would you say that
Just take the Brexit truck and just bus and just plow it through. I'm a Brexit truck. Fuck you. I'm a Brexit bus.
But Astra, would you say that this recent turn of events has changed your outlook on this whole Brexit thing?
No, not really.
What was your outlook in the first place?
Well, she
Oh,
wasn't
like-
decided. She didn't know yet.
I
A lot
don't.
of people are undecided.
I don't. Strangely enough, even though I think the EU is getting really, really shitty, and countries should probably be exiting, I don't think the best way to get your point across that you should do it is by killing MPs.
No.
I mean, you'd have to kill a lot of them if you
Yeah.
wanted to kill enough for them to be afraid of you. But
I don't think you have
Kill
enough
the
knights
main
for
one. Yeah, that will get a lot of people thinking.
that. Yeah, kill the main vampire.
I
Yeah,
don't.
but you're gonna see that this shit's gonna be used as pro
Fire
EU
for the-
fuel because
Yeah.
they're gonna be like, see what the antis or what the Brexiters are doing. They're killing our people.
Well, you could use
They're
it.
obviously terrorists.
Obviously, you could use it in the other way. Like, if we weren't in the EU in the first place, this would have never happened.
Yeah, people will twist it that way as well.
Mm-hmm. But I can see where the guy was coming from, though. He probably thinks getting out of the EU will save lives. Because if exiting the EU today stopped the wave of African immigrants, and I'm not going to say they're all Syrians because they're not, they're coming from everywhere, and they are all very
Peaceful.
They are very peaceful, and they have a huge culture difference between the countries they're coming from and the UK and most of Europe, and it
Right.
hasn't. They're not exactly integrating very smoothly.
That's why they want to enlighten you on their culture.
I'm trying to be more diplomatic than usual because I think I might come off a little more aggressive than I mean to sometimes. Also, something terrible happened this week, and I don't want to sound too bad.
Yeah, because if one murder wasn't enough, this guy had the nerve to, we just had an episode of Radio Rothingham, and then just hours after it happened, he was like, okay, I'm going to shoot a bunch of gay people because I don't know.
I'm a closet gay person. That's why.
Probably.
He was a Muslim who was a closet gay person.
When
That's
you're
an interesting
when you're raised
observation.
Muslim and been told that your entire life that gay people are a sin and you should and your religion suggests that sinners be punished by death, it's probably an easy conclusion to come to that you should probably kill the gay people.
Oh,
Whether or not you actually have the stones and sociopathy to do so is that's a completely different thing. I
think you're all getting it wrong. I mean, obviously he wasn't a Muslim because Muslimism is a religion of peace. I mean, he was very compassionate to the gays. Actually, he just wanted to put them out of their misery of being gay.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, that's what the local, I don't know what they are called, preacher in the Orlando mosque. Yes, Orlando has a mosque for some reason. The preacher there was basically saying that the best you can do for a gay is to kill it, him, she, her, mayonnaise.
Is mayonnaise a gender?
So he just went and he shared some of his bullets peacefully,
Mm-hmm.
so they can shed the trappings of being gay, and I guess go to the paradise with him because it's a religion of peace. He was just very sad that they are gay. I wanted to help them.
Yeah, but it is quite telling to see how these reporters and whatnot are just tripping over each other to try and not involve Islam and blame it on everything else.
It's also interesting that
It's-
this
it's-
is, officially allowed in a mosque. That's also officially allowed. Like you go to a church and then the priest is like, "Hey, how about them gays? Am I right to just kill them?"
Well, to be fair, we also let the Baptist, what was the name again? That weird
Westboro
church.
Baptist Church.
Yeah.
Westboro Baptist Church.
Oh, Westboro Baptist Church. It's like, burn in hell and shit. Like, you go to someone's funeral and you're just gonna be a
I
total
am not
ass
entirely
and-
sure if you can, even though Westboro Baptist Church is a collection of dicks and assholes, I'm not entirely sure if you can compare people picketing veteran funerals to people openly saying that you should kill gays.
Mhm.
There's a
Well,
tiny bit of
actually, in
difference.
America,
They are.
They do
you're
actually
right.
have-
They're not actually telling people that they should be killed. Just that they're gonna burn in hell for all eternity. Because-
there are some stipulations in Americans' free speech laws. Hate speech is still considered to be a crime, and hate speech is defined by incitement to violence and such against groups
True.
of people. So technically, no, the mosques cannot legally in America tell you to go murder gay people. So they are in fact violating the law by telling their congregation that gays should be killed. That's not stopping them from doing it, of course. And I would really love to see American law enforcement actually attempt to enforce that law.
but
That
we all
would be
know
nice.
That's not gonna happen.
I'm not entirely sure law enforcement even enforces law.
At this point, they
Plus,
they'll enforce ticket.
plus the guy was a Muslim, so he wasn't entirely black, so they couldn't shoot him.
That's true. Like the Americans are getting very stuck in a system where they're not, where their law enforcement is being forced to be very PG or PC, especially after the Mike Brown incident. It was Mike Brown, wasn't it? Yeah.
I guess.
Like they're afraid to arrest people right now, and that they should just be going out on the street and picking out anyone who looks like they could possibly be suspicious or up to anything, and just asking them what they're doing if they happen to have an AK-47 on their pants.
Actually, it was AR-15.
No, actually, it wasn't. People are pushing it that it was an AR-15 and shouting at how easily it is to obtain assault weapons in America and trying to use that as an excuse for more gun control.
So was it a Saiga?
I don't know what gun it was, actually. I just know it wasn't an AR-15. And well, even if to me, this all just actually sounds like a great argument for less gun control and for more people to be encouraged to carry guns.
Obviously. You got a shooter in the club, just pop him in the head. Carry on with the night.
If half the people in that club were armed, if not actually, if even 10% of the people in that club were armed, and this guy comes in and starts shooting people, I can imagine that at least one of those people who had a gun with them would have the stones to take him down. I mean, he can't control an entire nightclub with one person, unless none of them have guns. It's the problem always comes when you have this gross division of power between two groups of people. And the person with the greater power has all the control. So if a person steps into a club where there's 100 people, but none of them have weapons, and he has a machine gun, he's obviously the one in control. Now, if all those people collectively had a couple of guns, the power dynamic would have shifted, and it would have been a much more even fight, and it wouldn't have been a 50-man slaughter, which is pretty horrible. Like 50
It's
people
the-
died
it's-
in that
it's-
nightclub, and
yeah.
another 50 were injured.
It's the new record.
It's not really. Americans have murdered more than that in the past.
Aw,
If
I heard
if-
he whatever. He killed more people than Breivik.
Yeah, but that's because they don't count supposedly wartime massacres when American soldiers walked into Indian camps
obviously.
and shot everyone.
They are Indians. Of course, they don't count.
The actual massacre number is closer to 200, and that would have been performed by the American Civil Army when. Actually, no, I don't know if it was an army at the time, but you know,
It was definitely Americans with guns.
yes, and Indians would. Well, actually, the Indians probably a couple of them had guns. Indians bought a lot of guns when Europeans started settling there. They liked them.
Well, they were pretty convenient, especially if you had a tribe and there was this other tribe that was being a shit, and you're like, hey, this is our land, and the other tribe's like, well, fuck you. They're like, well, we've got guns, and then the other tribe doesn't say anything because they're all dead.
People don't seem to realize that America didn't exactly get invaded all at once by a giant invading army of European colonists. It was kind of a slow spread, and also more Indians were actually killed by smallpox and the flu because they'd never been exposed to these diseases before, and it just spread like a plague.
That's
So,
a
yeah.
lot of people.
They've never been exposed to blankets before.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, yeah, a lot of people will say, yeah, the Indians were slaughtered by the Europeans that became Americans.
But don't get me wrong, there was a lot of European slaughtering Indians going on.
Oh yeah, definitely.
As you do.
I'm definitely not saying it never happened, but proportionally I think a lot more died from nasty diseases. I mean, even with the technology back then, because supposedly there were a lot of Indians in America, and
Yes, they
from
sort
what
of
I
lived
heard,
there.
like 60 to 70-80% were killed by disease.
It's probably about right.
Mhm.
I'd have to check the books.
And obviously it didn't kill all of them because there's still a fair number of Indians around, but they're not exactly in charge these days.
Mistakes happen.
But anyway, we've gotten off topic and went into weird American history.
What was the topic?
The topic was horrible, racist, homophobe, breaks into a nightclub with a gun and shoots a lot of people.
Ah,
Now,
yeah.
I heard some very bizarre things from
I
this.
think call it the Holocaust.
So, oh god, it's awful.
Jeez.
Second.
There was some black woman claiming that he broke into the bathrooms and asked if there was any black people there, and when they said they were black, he decided not to shoot them because he had no gripe with black people, and that they'd suffered enough. I find such a statement extremely suspect from a person who walked into a gay nightclub to murder the gays. He didn't
Well-
seem to care whether they were black or white until he went into this bathroom.
That's
Supposedly.
That's a argument against him not being Islam because Islam is very progressive.
Mm-hmm. It just seems like a really bizarre thing for a mass shooter to do.
Talking about black people,
Oh,
Black Lives Matter.
they do.
I'm sorry. There was this thing in remembrance of all the dead gays,
Mhm.
and suddenly there was a black person on the stage. She was like, "Okay, I shouldn't be here. I shouldn't be doing this because like this doesn't affect me. But we should remember that Black Lives Matter." And then she spent like 30 minutes talking about Black lives and how they matter.
Did she seriously crash to remembrance?
Yes, but she said she shouldn't be there because it doesn't affect her. I mean, that redeems her, obviously.
Mhm.
God.
Okay. So next time there's a funeral, just go in and say, well, I'm not, part of your family or anything, but I'm just gonna
I don't
go
even
and
know you people,
remember
but
my late grandma.
Yeah, exactly.
But
I mean, this
don't
is just
even
one
know
dead
her.
person, but
Okay.
seriously,
But
this is just one dead person in a coffin. But I had 4 people in my family die and be put in a coffin.
I have less and less respect for the Black Lives Matter movement every time I hear about them.
I don't think nobody has any respect for them at this point.
Mm-hmm.
Like at one time, Bernie Sanders was having his little speech, and then suddenly 2 people walked up and were like, "This stage is ours now."
Yes.
And the best part is that he was like, "Okay, I'm just gonna
Bernie's such a
stand here and just not do anything."
Bernie is such a little puppy of a politician.
Mm.
What?
Well, he did lose the primaries. He didn't get the nomination. That's all I'm saying.
Well, actually, I saw a piece of news which I haven't verified about that, but apparently an investigation has uncovered hundreds of thousands of Bernie ballots that weren't counted.
Holy shit!
Mm-hmm.
That is quite a serious accusation. I mean, if those ballots are enough to sway the situation from Hillary being the wow, much
Wow.
now very conspiracy.
I mean, it's Bernie Sanders. I mean, he once said that the probable cause of cervical cancer is not enough orgasms.
Yeah, I found this article on newswire.com, or your Newswire.
I have a newswire.
Yes, you do.
Oh
It's
my!
this one. Apparently, sorry, they're in California, where Hillary apparently won by a landslide. Millions of ballots went uncounted, according to these people. So that could have changed the outcome of the vote slightly, I'm sure. If so many votes were just left to rot rather than being counted.
Maybe.
I imagine that's probably news to some people.
But you probably won't hear about it because
Not here. Right.
the powers that be probably don't want you to know.
B.
Buzz.
Of course, if all of these ballots weren't counted, then you wouldn't know whether they were for Bernie or Hillary. So, yeah, I mean, like, did they just go into the office, sort out all the Bernie ballots, pull them out, and put them into boxes, or is this just like a fuck ton of districts ballots altogether weren't counted at all, and they're still unsorted in the boxes? Like, we don't know. All we know is there's a bunch of boxes of ballots that didn't get counted.
So maybe Hillary won even more.
That's
She
also
could
a
have done.
possibility.
So, I don't know. Well, it'll have to be investigated, and someone will have to count. And because they probably don't have the polling staff there to count, that will probably take a while.
Yeah, it's America. I don't expect them to be able to count.
Oh.
Not very high, at least.
Mm-hmm.
Speaking of counting and I don't know, insert pun here, but there was another thing that happened.
Accounting?
Did it have 3 E's in it?
No.
Alligator? No. I think it only has 2. I don't know. Anyways, there was this thing where there was this Disney park resort in the Floridas, and this kid was dragged into the swamp, and it died because the alligator was like, "This is human. That's gross. Fuck this shit. I'm out." So,
I'm not even eating this. Ugh.
Yeah. Apparently,
Are you
this was-
saying
Oh, go ahead.
large animal from the Cretaceous era versus small child, and the small child didn't win? That's
But-
terrible. What kind of human loses to a dinosaur?
Well, the kid was only like 2 years old. That is kind of a detail that you should know, and apparently alligators don't really like to eat humans. And apparently, according to
Oh, so you're saying that the poor guy was actually confused? We should be rooting for the alligator.
the alligator was very confused because it dragged the kid, down into the water. It was like, got myself a nice, tasty treat. But then he was like, oh, fuck this is human. I don't want this. And then he just went away
Oh,
and let the kid to die. It's like,
poor alligator.
or
That's
everyone involved. But yeah, of course, this happened, and then the whole media circus started, and people were like, yeah, the parents are awful people because they didn't look after their kid. They just left the kid to
Alligatorism is a religion of peace.
that too.
There's dangers everywhere in life. Not everyone can catch everything.
Yeah, I mean,
Especially on Florida, who even like, what is the idea to build a park in Florida with lakes that have access, like not a fenced off area with lakes that have access to the swamp system? I mean, let's say
apparently the risk of being eaten by an alligator or being attacked by an alligator is so incredibly small that they basically are willing to take the risk.
it's still built on a swamp. Put a fence there.
I've been
I think they did.
in one of those swamps on an
Put a
airboat.
more fence.
Yeah, apparently it wasn't fenced off enough, but yeah, it was a very. I think there were signs over there saying, "Look out, there might be alligators in here," but no one really cared because everyone was like, "Yeah,
There probably was, but you have to realize that Florida is huge. Well, it's not huge, but it's a very swampy area, and you couldn't possibly fence off every little patch of swampland where alligators live. It's like half the fucking country is swamp.
Yep.
But
So,
if it is like on the borders of the theme park, maybe there could be better fencing efforts. But kids will be like, how old was this kid? Was he only 2?
Yeah, he was
Two.
only 2.
Like, kids will wander and investigate everything, and you can't always hold a kid back from running under a fence and exploring a paddle pool and then getting eaten by an alligator. I don't know how much blame really goes on the parents unless we've actually have video evidence of them tossing him into the water for some reason.
I think this is just one big freak accident, and
Probably. Kids
blaming
are
it on
retarded.
parents is fucking stupid because they're already traumatized from the whole ordeal. They're like, holy fucking shit, our kid got eaten by a fucking alligator. Like, that's one that goes down in history books. Like, parents lose child to alligator. Alligator doesn't even eat the child, so he wasn't even a tasty treat. He was just killed because alligator. And then you have this whole media landscape that's gonna be like, yeah, I blame the parents. Parents are awful people. Lynch killed them, whatever.
Well, I think
That's
we've learned from recent history that the media just want to make everything super sensational, which isn't exactly news. It's been the case of the media since, well, I guess the 80s, when television news took off and people realized that the shows that brought in the best ratings were the most fantastical news stories. They didn't even have to be true.
Well, it has gotten a lot worse in the recent years, especially with the whole clickbait phenomenon, where newscasters really don't give a shit about quality content. It all is about getting the clicks.
You wouldn't believe how much shit they don't give.
Exactly. So
Click here to find out just how much shit the newscasters don't give.
Click here for the top 10 worst news. Click here for the top 10 worst clickbaity websites. Click here.
And of course, it will all be that it would have the clickbait icon or thumbnail of that Jurassic Park scene with the large pile of poop. That's a lot of shit. Jeff Goldblum. I couldn't remember his name. But then I did.
It's the man with the glasses. No, not that one, the other one.
Hmm.
Yes, talking about sites. There's a bunch of sites.
Which
I
one?
heard those are on the internet.
Yes, they are called Gawker.
Oh, yes.
Oh God.
They are finally, definitively filing for bankruptcy. Because
Oh,
apparently putting up a sex tape of Hulk Hogan and encouraging people to view it is not a very good idea.
I think
Actually-
we wanted to talk about this in the last episode, but we didn't really touch on it, so let's do it right now. But yeah, Gawker, it's probably just gonna reorganize and just split off in smaller companies, what have you.
It's a for sale,
Hmm.
so you can buy it if you have the money,
I got
What, is
20
it like
quid on
3
me right
pence?
now.
and then you can use it solely for advertising your art.
Yes.
Oh no. I think if you attached your art to Gawker, you might actually lose popularity.
Of course, he's
Oh, yeah.
going to rename it. He's just going to use the infrastructure.
Yeah, but now that you mention it, Panboy, yeah, if I actually bought Gawker and use it to promote my art, it would actually, you know, it no.
It will increase the quality of the site.
But you could do ironic things like put up sex tapes of one person, publish sex tapes to other people, and then sue other companies for publishing sex tapes, and you get really popular. Right? That's what Gawker. Wait,
Yeah.
something seems wrong with that logic.
Hmm.
I'm not sure. Wait. If you're publishing sex tapes, should you really be suing other companies for doing the same thing?
Double standards.
Mhm.
Because I hear that's what Gawker were doing.
Yeah, because they were like, when the fappening happened, Gawker was all like, "Oh, these people are awful. You're awful people. People on the internet are awful. Awful. And
And the worst part is I haven't seen a single picture.
That's because we don't go on Gawker because their new site is shit.
No, but, I think it was referring to the happening, which was
Oh, I
not
know.
on Gawker. It was just
I was saying Gawker had the photos.
They probably did. They probably published them.
Yeah, it's Gawker. Why are we
Maybe.
even talking about Gawker?
They probably have 50 shell sites that they publish things through still. It's like,
Isn't
oh,
Kotaku-
that's not our site. Hint,
Isn't
hint,
Kotaku one
nudge,
of them?
nudge.
Oh,
I believe so.
I
That
think
reminded me of-
Kotaku was owned by Gawker, so
That-
yeah.
That reminded me of one of the headlines I saw. It was something like Gawker files for bankruptcy. Jezebel will continue posting.
Oh no.
Oh, thank God! It will continue posting.
What would
It
you
would be
do
such
without
a loss
Jezebel?
if we lost Jezebel.
It
I
would
don't
be a
even
terrible,
fucking
terrible
know
thing.
what sort of site that is, but I think it's one
Ah.
of those shitty geeks
It's
or
a-
sites.
It's
or-
no, Jezebel is a feminist site.
Ah,
Feminism with tampons. And
feminism with tampons. Well, that's already
Yeah.
one step over feminism without tampons and, you know,
Oh,
free
oh,
breeding
no.
and what have you.
they do that
Yeah,
too.
but
Oh.
They're also
Well,
hypocrites.
why would you even name your site after a biblical character that was whose defining characteristic was that she was a careless bitch?
Because the site was a careless bitch, so it makes sense.
I don't think it's the best. Like that's if I made a web and named it Hitler,
You should totally do that.
probably.
You could sell mustache and mustache accessories.
Nice. Mustache and hair care. Hitler.
You could be discreet. You could brand everything Chaplin, but also have an army uniform that was German inspired, armbands that are World War II inspired.
Yes, and eagle-shaped accessories.
All inspired by
Chaplin.
yes, Charlie Chaplin skits about Hitler. I mean about Charlie Chaplin.
Yes. He's scared about himself.
Mhm. Where he was a German. Just a member of the Royal German Army or whatever it was called. I couldn't possibly remember what the name the German Army went by in World War II.
Probably something like People German Army.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's probably something that sounds totally mundane and not memorable at all.
Bundeswehr or whatever. I don't know. Something like that.
Yeah.
Well, in this situation we could use a back, but he's doing his own thing right now, so I'm not going to.
Yes. We'll never be able to remember what the German army was known as.
Nope, never. We don't have this global network specifically set up with the sole purpose of porn. I mean, looking up various bits of information.
Look, Artrix, there's certain bits of information on the internet you're just not supposed to talk about. Shh.
Okay. So, I think we were talking about them alligators.
Allegedly.
Yes. Allegedly.
Allegedly.
Alligatory. But
Alligator.
I guess there's one more topic that we can discuss, and that is of
Only
course
one?
the 3, that's E.
Yes.
Was
There was A games.
there trees in that?
That was a 3
There was
in E3.
a few trees in there, yes.
I must confess, I didn't watch much of the trees myself.
Me neither.
I was only interested in one game, which I already knew about. But it
I
will
have
be
not.
glorious.
Yes, I have not watched this E3 either, but I have all the news.
Good for you. You've read about the interesting and new. See, I remember in the 90s, E3 used to be really special because all the companies, or the 90s and the 2000s.
Oh
all
god,
the
the
companies were
2000s. Yes, I remember the time when E3 was a special thing.
because all the new consoles were coming out and they were huge improvements over the old consoles. And I was like, look at this spectacular technology. Look, morphing models in real time, particle effects that actually look like fire-ish, sort of, kind of. Frame rates higher than you've ever imagined. Resolutions as high as 1024 by 768, rendered in real time,
Well, yeah,
with
that
subsurface smoothing.
Well, that was the time where it was normal that each new generation of graphics card had twice the power of the last one.
Mm-hmm. And the power actually equated to the games looking different.
Yes, that too.
Today's power improvements is like, look, this is Skyrim. It's got 5 billion polygons. Doesn't it look nice? And now it's like, hey, look, this is Skyrim HD. It's got 15 billion polygons. Doesn't it look better?
That was the crowning moment of E3. The game we waited for our whole life. Skyrim Remastered.
I just found it kind of hilarious that they were making a big deal about what really came down to adding a bunch of environmental shaders to Skyrim.
I wouldn't be surprised if they actually added some of the just download a mod, slap it into the main ESM file, and call it an improvement.
Mm-hmm.
I wonder if it's going to have the HD textures, those that didn't do nothing.
Look, when I saw the Skyrim screenshots of the updated version, the textures actually looked exactly the same. So they probably are just using the same texture pack. They had environmental effects. They had God rays. God rays looked almost as good as God rays in Stalker.
I am pretty sure that they are putting in a new lighting engine.
Mm-hmm.
And that's about it, I guess.
Yeah, it was all lighting engine stuff. Everything in the HD remaster of Skyrim was post-processing and lighting effects. There was nothing else there. And most of that could probably have been modded into the old game.
Well, that's why I said they're just going to take mods from the unofficial sites and just put them in. Who cares?
But don't to me, it just looked like, oh, this is the kind of thing. This is the kind of difference you see in a PC game when you slide your graphic sliders around a bit. It's like, God rays on, dynamic lighting on, depth of field on. There we go. Now I have Skyrim remastered.
Yay! Further things from Bethesda. Where I remember Elder Scrolls Online, the game that tanked horribly before it even released.
It's the dog that watches.
No, I said Elder Scrolls Online.
Oh yes, that no, I didn't even hear you because my brain just completely dismisses anything that's related to that. It just empties it out.
Yes, it's an MMO that didn't work. Actually, the PvP was nice. They decided to make changes, and the changes is that all the world content is now going to out-level to your level.
Mm-hmm. Well, so that's a sense.
So you have a.
That's kind of sensible for that kind of open world.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And the entire world is going to be open, including the enemy factions, zones, and quests. I don't get this.
Well, I can understand the areas being open to you to go into, but then I would imagine that you should show up as a hostile character to the characters there.
They did not do that. You can just fall right into the main city of your enemy and hey, quest. Actually, you were able to do this before, but after you hit the max level, for some reason, don't ask me. It's their design decision. I'm not going to talk about this further. Another thing they did is, you know how Bethesda tries to mimic Blizzard? They finally announced their card game.
That's definitely worthy of E3.
That's very worthy of E3. I think it's a step in the right direction, in the same right direction that Elder Scrolls Online did. Also, there's Dishonored 2, which has a nice trailer with absolutely terrible, terrifying music. But hey, the first one had the best music it could have. No sense in trying to make a better music, so just slap some random, I don't even know what it was, electro hip hop thing in there and call it a day.
Do you know, I just realized that the saddest thing is, this E3, we actually do have a spectacular new technology that's just after hitting the consumer market. And they hardly showed it off at all at E3. VR headsets are finally here. Why aren't they showing off a stack of games?
For some reason, nobody cares. Huh.
It's the most bizarre thing. Remember when the Connect happened and E3 was all about this fucking piece of shit that would never work properly? But
yes.
E3 was like, look at it. It's awesome. Look, I can throw a ball to a small animated child and it will catch it. Of course, the Connect didn't do anything like that in reality, but they still made it look like it did. Where was the HTC Vive version of throwing a ball to a small animated child?
I don't think Vive would even qualify. I mean, it's the thing with VR is the only VR they could showcase would be the PlayStation VR because all the other ones are either open source, open platform, or under Facebook. Who even cares about that?
I'll be buying a Vive though. It looks.
Of course, you should buy a Vive
because they're not locking it down.
Yeah, naturally. Valve is just giving them money and hey, do what you think is the best. Unlike Facebook and that guy with the weird hair. Anyway, to finish the thought, Dishonored 2 looks good. Will be out in November. But you can already pre-order it, and you can already pre-order Definitive Edition. No, thanks. Fuck off.
I'm getting so sick of pre-orders. They're just sitting there taunting me on the internet saying, look at this game I know you want. It's not out for 6 months, but do you want to give us the money now?
And no, I'm like, no, I'm going to pirate it on the release and then buy it 3 years later.
I can't do that. I want to play Battlefield. Piracy against multiplayer-focused games doesn't work.
Okay, true.
I'll be hopping into a tank and then yelling I'm in a tank for at least an hour before I realize I exploded 20 minutes ago.
Aww.
I do have to wonder if I can manage to grenade jump a tank to take down a Zeppelin.
Sounds nice. Also, there was the No, not EA. Let's Microsoft. Yes, Microsoft was great. They were showcasing Xbox and Xbox One S, which is the same thing as Xbox, except it's smaller and has better parts in it. Wow, I did not expect this. A console that is better than the other console. But before it's time for a new console.
Well, no, actually, you've got it wrong. There's two Xbox Ones.
Yes, I was getting to that. See, I was just trying to say, only if my PC could do this. Anyway, yes, there's something called Project Scorpio, which is apparently going to be so good that you can actually, play VR on it. Except it's not going to be so good because, it's a console.
No, I think they were saying it was going to be something like 4 times more powerful, which, but the net reward of this 4 times more power is just so it can play at 480 or 4K.
Yes, 480p. Well, all it means they are going to cram the new Radeon in there.
Yeah, probably.
And they're also segmenting the whole console market with a lot of confusion, actually, because you're gonna be like, I want an Xbox. Okay, well, which one are you gonna get? And you're like, well, the Xbox.
God, I have 3 choices now. What I'm gonna do?
Original Xbox or the Xbox One S or the Scorpio.
Yeah, the thing is, Artrix, it actually causes some butthurt amongst the people who could be actually fairly called peasants. Because they are very pissed because, it used to be that you got a console and for the next 10 years you got games that were specifically getting the most out of the console. Well, now you have to upgrade because the games are too good! And that's a problem, apparently.
If you're buying console and expect it to last for 10 years and
a cycle, okay, 7 years or however many.
The console cycle. Your console should last the console cycle. You shouldn't have to upgrade mid-cycle. That's really dumb.
The thing with console is they are not up to par after half a year of the cycle.
Yeah, these consoles are still really young. To be upgrading them already is absurd.
Well, I think that's more of a matter that the consoles, the way they have been released, were underpowered on release.
They were, but also then there was this strange drive out of nowhere to upgrade everything to 4K.
Well, yeah, Artrix, exactly. It's not time yet to change the consoles, but they really have no other choice because yes, there's the 4K thing, there's virtual reality, which lots of people can get into, and there's the new generation of graphics cards, which happens to be twice as good as the last generation of graphics cards, which really didn't happen for like the last 5 years.
Yeah, the graphics architecture jump this generation was huge. It was was it AMD who made that new tech that did it?
I don't know. Some of them are using FinFETs, or all of them. I don't know what NVIDIA calls it actually. FinFET is just the process. Obviously, they have the trademarks, names, and whatever. Who cares?
They went all on about having a new pipelining system that allowed for more parallelism than ever before.
And AMD uses Mantle. No Mantle. It's Mantle. They scrapped Mantle, put whatever they had into Vulkan, which I like because Vulkan is just sees what you have plugged in video cards as a graphics chips, not as brands. So it just uses them as it wants. So you can totally have one card just for the raw computations of not computations. You have a card that churns out the textures, and you have a card that's just made to compute the physics, which is a good idea.
For anyone who doesn't know, Vulkan is a new graphics technology that's supposed to take over it runs inside of DirectX 12. And currently, I think it only works in DirectX 12. There'll probably be an OpenGL implementation of some kind eventually.
Yeah.
But it allows your system to see all your graphics cards, as Zav was saying, just as graphics cards. It doesn't care what they are or what they can do. It judges their power itself, and then chooses what to put on them, rather than the old system where you just dump everything at the graphics card and let it do it. Now Vulkan will manage your graphics cards and send the tasks to them as they are needed, so it can actually use all your if you have 12 graphics cards in your computer is essentially 12 times more powerful.
Yes. And you have all the RAM. No more SLI, where you get only RAM of the one card because it has to mirror the images.
Mm-hmm. And also, Vulkan apparently ignores graphic card manufacturer, so you could have an NVIDIA and an AMD.
That's the best part. Until NVIDIA shuts it down.
If this actually works as well as they're suggesting, it'll be like SLI on steroids.
Yeah.
You could probably cram in an old AGP card into a PCI 2 slot, and it would probably work somehow.
When this was first announced, people actually wanted it to replace DirectX 12 because 12 is kind of locked to Windows 10, which people don't really like.
For some reason.
For some reason.
Basically, the only reason I'm still running Windows 10 is I want the latest DirectX.
Yes.
It's because tragic. I like video games.
Because Windows 10 is tragic. Like
it really.
It was yesterday that a friend sent me a message that her computer is hopelessly outmatched, that it's running at 100% of everything, and she can do anything there. Well, turns out that Windows 10 was downloading updates.
Yeah, Windows 10 becomes completely crippled when it has updates queued. And it doesn't seem to actually install them. It just seems to use up all your computer's resources until you restart. I've experienced this several times. I'm just using my computer like normal, watching all the porn, playing the video games, and then the Windows bar doesn't work anymore. I press the Windows button, bring up search, try to search, no, nothing. Try to open File Explorer, no, not going to work. So I can only run anything that I have a shortcut on my desktop for. The computer doesn't crash. Just Explorer completely locks down and stops working properly. And it's really frustrating.
That's odd too, because I don't really experience this problem at all. Like this phenomenon that
your computer is obviously terrible, and that's why it doesn't happen.
You'll never update.
Yes. It's terrible because it's not doing a thing that makes your computer freeze up.
Definitely.
Okay. Well, if that makes my computer terrible, then I'm glad that my computer is terrible, because it's not doing the freezing up.
Acceptance is the first step, Artrix.
But that's the strange thing, though, Artrix. My computer doesn't freeze up. My computer still works. Everything else works. I can run video games. I can watch the internet. I can use Chrome. I can
all fucked up. Yeah.
It's just
for some reason that doesn't happen
Explorer.
To me. Like, I'm pretty sure that it has download updates and whatnot. I don't even know this because, well, I don't really pay much attention to it. But the thing that you described, where it basically just freezes down everything, or at least the Explorer, never happened to me. What did happen to me is that I turn off my computer, but I don't turn off the power, and I just go watch some TV or whatever, come back to my room, and then my computer's turned on again. So it's
probably
ghost
installing updates.
Or it's like
if you haven't disabled wake timers, Windows will set tasks to happen 20 minutes after you turn off your computer.
Also a funny thing I discovered about the telemetry, the setting to turn it off. But if you don't have a Enterprise Edition, I think it was, the setting won't let you turn it off. And if you force it to turn off, I mean, if you somehow figure out how to put a 0 in there, it's going to show you the 0. It's going to behave like there's a 1 or 2 or whatever is the other settings. Right.
Yep. No. Windows 10 insists on sending data back to Microsoft.
Anyway,
uses statistics and hardware.
You want any more trees?
Yeah,
Oh,
because Xaverius, do the thing where you announce Astra's topic.
Wait, what? I thought we were talking about E3.
Because I have a topic lined up for Astra. So do the thing and announce Astra's topic.
But Artrix,
with Astra.
there's going to be Gwent, which is the card game from Witcher.
Okay, well,
The card games are getting out of control. Don't you get it?
okay, go ahead, talk about that. But then it's Astra's
No,
topic with
I just
Astra.
I just finished talking about it. I wanted to talk
Okay.
about something actual. There's also Titanfall sequel, but nobody cares about that. Oh, there's Watch Dogs 2. There's Watch Dogs 2 there. It's very diverse. You play as a black hipster hacker in San Francisco.
Obviously.
But is he a Muslim woman?
I hope he's going to be.
Who's also lesbian.
I hope. And then you have Mafia 3.
He can be whatever gender he wants.
And in Mafia 3, you play as a black guy in New Orleans, which kind of explains the blackness.
In which year?
In 70s.
Oh, 70s. Okay, that kind of makes
And
sense, I guess.
he's not a mafioso. But he's killing mafiosos.
Well, it's the 70s by then.
Because
Not
they
really.
decided to murder his favorite bar while all his friends and him were in it.
That's just mean. What
Yeah,
did a bar ever do to him?
exactly. Obviously, the mafiosos are evil and should be murdered. And that was the game's about. I think ever since Vavra and all the other Czech people are not in that studio that makes the mafias, the story is moving from a good to American.
Yeah.
Yeah,
See,
where's
that was
developing
always
it
the great thing. What?
Who's
What?
developing Mafia now? Because I don't really pay attention to Mafia.
It's still 2K Czech, except it's not 2K Czech anymore, and it has its seat in California. Don't ask me.
Okay, so basically they moved their offices to the United States and
Probably
Like
got
it's-
rid of some Czech people in the process. Most of
Also, did you say San Francisco?
No.
Or Los
San
Angeles?
Francisco. San Francisco was Watch Dogs.
Okay.
This was New Orleans.
No, I
Which is-
meant where the studio is.
Oh, California.
San
Probably
Francisco.
somewhere in Silicon Valley. I don't know.
Okay.
Yeah, it's an interesting trend actually that European companies are get bought up by American companies, and then slowly the game stories, which used to be a European parody of American culture, become like American wish fulfillment games. Like it started with GTA, and they went to America, and then then GTA became bad with GTA 4 anyway.
Yes,
I
because
don't-
GTA 4 takes itself too seriously.
Way too seriously.
Yes. Exactly, that's what the games do. They start taking themselves seriously.
Same thing happened to Rare. Rare get bought up by Microsoft. They're like, are you gonna make wacky, stupid games? Yes, we'll make wacky, stupid games. And Microsoft, like, okay, where's your game plan? And Rare are like, what?
What's a game
Like,
plan?
where's your design document? We're like, what? How do you usually make games? Well, Fred comes in, he throws stickers at the board, and I shout ideas at him, and Frank does some coding sometimes, and I get my 10-year-old to come in and doodle assets. And the Microsoft like, that's not going to work here.
Mm-hmm.
And then Rare died.
Yeah, because Microsoft is like, this is a corporation with ties and shit. Because we do
The dice, the
yeah,
bind.
because we do spreadsheets and whatnot.
Well, anyway, the last thing on E3, there was actually some games that look kind of good. There's a game very originally named Vampire, which is like a vampire but a bit dry.
Is that related to a masquerade?
Not unfortunately, no.
Oh.
But you play as a doctor who's a vampire, and he's in a city, and the city is struck by a plague, and he's a vampire. I don't know what the game is about. Like, I don't know if it's more like Bloodlines or more like Bloodborne, but apparently, from the trailer, there is a choice. There is a choice of who to eat for your midnight snack, and you're a doctor, so obviously, I hope the choice will consist of figuring out whose death will be mourned the least. because that presents a nice moral dilemma actually.
You'll probably
But,
just go out on the street and find night stalkers.
Or that because it's a game made by the people who made Remember Me, which was a game about jumping, fighting, and getting into people's head, taking their memories and altering them so they become your friends, and which was a very good concept, but the game wasn't very popular. And then they made the worst, horriblest thing that I can't even bear myself to say the name aloud, but yes, I will do it. Life is Strange.
Ugh.
Yes, exactly.
I've never even played it, but the name just makes me cringe.
Yeah, exactly. Well, and the second game that has a potential is a RPG isometric, a group-based RPG isometric that's made by Obsidian and published by Paradox. And
Obsidian, you say?
it's called Tyranny.
Does it have power armor?
I don't know if it has a power armor, but it has Tyranny, because the concept is that you work for a guy who has his empire, and the entire empire is law for evil.
Law for evil.
Yes, which is a valid form of government.
Mm-hmm.
And it also could, in theory, bring a nice change of pace to an RPG where, trying to be good. In this case, you are just like, your job are going to chop your head off.
Yeah, you're actual law enforcement. You're like, hey, do your job or die. Don't break the law or die. You're basically Judge Dredd.
Nice. Yeah, and anyway, Artrix, have you ever played the game?
Yes, I played games.
Yes, but did you ever wish? Did you ever look at the screen and pushed all the controls? And did you ever think, man, I wish I would not have to control this game?
No.
Well,
No,
then
because usually when I was playing Donkey Kong Country, Tropical Freeze, and the level's really hard, but I kept trying, and eventually I succeeded. And that's when, as a gamer, you're filled with a sense of accomplishment, because that was a really hard thing. And
gamers are filthy people.
You're terrible.
I'm confused.
You should play this. You should play this next game. It's named Mountain, and you are a mountain.
It's on sale on Humble Bundle right now.
Yes.
That doesn't sound very fun.
You are a mountain. You have the mountain on the screen.
Yes.
And there's weather, and sometimes something falls on the mountain,
Yeah.
or there are trees that grow, and you're a mountain, and sometimes you can push a button, and it moves the view a bit, and that's about all you can do.
They're not selling this to me.
Actually, I'll imagine. Take yourself back to 1995.
Oh yeah, okay.
When
Okay.
you're
I'm
playing
venturing it now.
and you open up control panel and you look at the screensavers.
Yes.
Just remember that experience.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Feel it.
you remember
I'm
the
remembering
screensaver?
now. My dad's
You remember this
old
this
Citroen
screensaver? Hey, the screensaver on Windows XP, the one that built those pipes.
Mhm.
Well, this is very similar. It's also procedurally generated, but it's a mountain,
Wow.
and it rotates very, very slowly.
Wow.
It is.
And this
it's
is
a
being
screensaver.
sold as a game.
This is the
Yes.
state of the video game
For-
market
for-
right now.
for €1 right now.
Yeah,
It's-
that's
uh,
yours I'd
that's-
rather spend on
And
food.
it's a screensaver that does not save screen. It actually uses it up more. Let me.
Xaverius, for €8, I can almost buy myself a crate of Brand, which will give me more satisfaction than this game.
Or you can buy 8 of this and run them on 8 monitors. Anyway, the reviews, according to Steam, are overall very positive, out of 7,244, and recent mostly positive out of 170 for Tuteno. But there are reviews. That's even better. At the beginning of the game, I find the idea cute. By the end, I am hypnotized. LA Times, whatever.
Oh yeah, obviously.
Yes. Then Mountain, that's the name of the game, breaks the mold of video games. The Atlantic. There's no score, obviously. Nothing you do matters in this game, but but you're still obsessed over it. Wired. And obviously, my favorite, because how could you not? The time I spent with Mountain feels slightly more real to me than anything else inside my computer. Like Alexander from Gamma Sutra.
Oh yeah, obviously she loved the shit out of this game.
She does. All the people from Rock Paper Shotgun, Vert, from everywhere love this game, which is a dead giveaway to never even look at this.
I do have to wonder if you go through those review sites and look at those consumer reviews and check to see how many hours into Mountain they have put. Is it comparable to any other games that they own?
Huh. I would say that no. Of course, you should check for yourself. Obviously.
Mm-hmm. Everyone should go and look at the Steam reviews right now and check the profiles of the people who reviewed it. I imagine that, well, actually, unfortunately, it's the kind of program you could just leave on your computer all day by accident and then come back to later. But, because it's a screensaver.
Yeah. Also, there's another game I encountered. It's called Along the Edge. It's basically your normal graphic novel. It has some really nice art and a very good concept of, the choices you do actually influence the personality of your character, including how she dresses, which is a novel idea, I guess. Of course, totally wasted because it's a graphic novel. But that's not the problem here. The problem here is in the comments, and it's the best. Half of them are French, and the other half of the comments is not French, which is probably worse because I can actually understand them. And there are comments like this. It might be no dating sim, but there are 3 romance options, and they are all straight ones.
That sounds positive.
Yes.
It's almost like straight romance is actually the norm and the default for people. I don't know why that would be.
I don't know, but this other commenter agrees completely. Even
Also,
having a
Panboy,
female
that's so
protagonist.
transphobic of you to say.
Yes, it is. Having a female protagonist is all nice and dandy, but being forced in a heteronormative mold in what should be a game about possibilities is disappointing at best, infuriating at worst.
Yes, because we live in a heteronormative world.
Obviously, I am my own skin.
Anyways, we're kind of running out of time, so
I've been stretching it for too long. I'm sorry.
yes. So, Xaverius announced the Astra time with the Astra.
Yes. Okay, it's the Astra time with Astra.
Hi.
So now we're going to force Astra to talk about something, and this time around it's about the Pokemons, which was revealed at the E3s to my annoyance, because it was like, I want to see Zelda, and then they spent an hour talking about Pokemons. It was like, what the shit?
You're a bit butthurt over that.
Not really.
Like, bitch, shut up, we have Pokemon.
Mm-hmm. So are you excited for the new Pokemons?
Well, in the E3, they showed new Pokemons.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Is it better than the other Pokemons?
Better than the other 750 odd fucking things. Even I'm getting pissed off how many there are. It's ridiculous. I mean, I can understand it's a 25-year franchise. It's big. 20 years. Sorry. It's phenomenal how long it's been last. A big achievement. Anyway, Sun and Moon had been announced a couple of months ago, and they have been adding new content from the E3 to make our mouths water.
Was there any fantastic new gameplay demonstrated?
Yeah, they actually demonstrated the first 10 minutes of the game, I guess. The first town, first initial areas of the game, I guess.
Come on, give us your first impressions.
Yeah.
Was it awesome?
It is awesome. It's actually one of the first few times where they've shown it live, and they've shown 3 new Pokemon. Yeah.
Explain to us how these Pokemons were awesome and how they were awesome in this game. What was
They
new?
were awesome
What was
because
different?
the generic bird and whatever the fuck that thing is for Pokemon. It's like the
Good descriptions.
it's like your Rattata and Pidgey of each generation, where you're the first few Pokemon you encounter on your journey.
Mm-hmm.
So
Oh, okay. So yeah, you're talking about the field items now, not the actual ones you start with.
yeah. Sorry.
Yes.
Whoa!
And
Everybody knows about the newest generation starters. That's old news. This is new news.
but was the fighting system different?
Yes. There's a new battle system called Battle Royale, where it's a free-for-all on a turn basis, and you can gang up. It's 4 Pokemon at a time.
You just let the Pokehounds out.
Okay, that's a huge difference for Pokemon. Yeah.
Yeah.
So, for example, if you have a type advantage, you can have everybody go against that type. It'd be like 3-on-1 Pokemon, or 2-on-2, depending on how much of an arsehole you are.
You can have a team full of Charizards.
So if you're in the field, do you let out all 6 of yours and you end up fighting one
Oh no,
Rattata?
this is just a completely different battle system. No,
Huh? Explain.
I'm confusing you now. No, the battle system is still the same, but this is the new, what do you call it? Battle mode that you can use against people over the internet.
Right.
I suck at this. Why do we even have Astra Hour?
It's not Astra Hour, it's Astra time. But Astra.
Astra time. I don't even know why we have this shit. I don't like being put on the spot.
Because otherwise you just sit there not saying anything for an hour, and we need our token female to say at least a thing. Otherwise we'll get accused of being sexist.
You're basically being a succulent.
You enjoy Pokemon. You should be taught. You should understand what happened in the demo. I have not seen the E3 Pokemon demonstration, so I'm asking you the questions that a person who might want to play a Pokemon might ask.
I'm not good at this shit. I don't like being put on the spot.
Astra, among us 4, you are the very best.
Yeah.
Okay. So I've established so far that there's a rat. You can fight it, but the battle system is the same. So, so just playing the normal game, not the player versus player, just the normal game, nothing's changed.
Yeah, as far as I know.
Yeah, because when I did see it, I was like, this looks an awful lot like Pocket Mortys, and I know that Pocket Mortys are basically straight up clone of Pokemon. So yeah, it was essentially still the same game, but slightly different, just a smidge.
What about the graphics? I heard it might not be sprites. Has it got all the 3Ds?
It's got all the 3Ds,
does.
And it's on the 3DS, so it's even more 3D.
Ooh.
Can I plug in a VR headset to the 3DS and get it in 3D full panorama and walk around in the actual Pokemon world?
No.
Well, I wouldn't know how that's exciting, because so you walk around, then you go into battle, and then you're just standing behind your Pokemon, who does all the exciting shit, and you're just standing there
because
it around.
Scale, Artrix. Scale. If you're wearing a VR headset and Pokemons are supposed to be 5 stories tall, and you can walk right up to it, and you're face level with its genitals, it gives you a sense of smallness.
Wait, what? Aren't Pokemon supposed to be small?
No.
Like,
I
well, that's how much I know about Pokemons.
Pokemons have genitals?
Well, Charizard in the first generation of Pokemon is supposed to be like a 20-foot tall dragon.
Yes. One of the larger Pokemons. I mean, there's a lot of small Pokemons in that game, in it.
All the starters in the first Pokemon game get pretty darn big.
Yeah. Well, Yeah.
I think War Turtle is probably no, Blastoise is probably the smallest of the three.
Yeah.
Ivysaur is basically a walking island.
Venusaur.
Yeah, Venus.
It's a Venusaur. He's a giant. He's a giant walking cliff with a tree on its back, and the
Look,
tree
even-
fires lasers.
Look, even Xaverius knows more about Pokemon than I do.
Well, I've watched it, Artrix. I watched it.
And then you've got, I think the
Okay,
biggest
what's-
Pokemon in existence is called Wailord, and it's supposed to be as large as a beluga whale. Or is it, or great, or what's the name of it? Sperm whale. I think it's supposed to be
Yeah.
a sperm whale. And if you don't know, a sperm whale is the largest land mammal, or the largest mammal on
Mammal,
Earth.
no, yeah.
Land of
It-
Lemon.
In all of Earth's history.
Asta,
Bigger than the
technically-
dinosaurs.
Technically,
And
sea
it's still
is
around,
on
that's the
land.
amazing part.
Sea is just a very big lake that's on land. You know?
But yes, whales are big.
Mhm.
So that's the size of the biggest Pokemon.
Okay.
It's bigger than the Titanic.
Also, apparently, there is this new Zelda coming.
Who cares? Oh, Nightly.
And
Isn't
I
that-
care. It looks like an interesting Zelda game.
Isn't it
Um,
coming on the Zelda console that hasn't existed yet?
Both. It's coming to the Wii U and the NX apparently. But
Oh.
also, it was the only the first time I think when a Nintendo official actually said the words NX on stage, which was odd. It was Reggie just walked up to the stage and he was like, "Yeah, there's the new Zelda. It's coming to the Wii U and NX." And everyone, you just expected to know what the NX is. Like, yep.
Isn't that just a production name though? Has it not got a real
Yeah.
title yet?
We don't even know the official name of the damn console.
I don't
So-
think they know that either. Like,
And anyways, it looks
Yeah.
like an interesting game at the very least. They do introduce a bunch of interesting concepts into the Zelda franchise, and it looks like fun. So
Look.
I might actually end up picking it up, and also considering that it's probably gonna be the last NX game. I mean Wii U game
Wii U
worth
game.
getting.
So can you
Because-
go into a cave and throw boomerangs at bats?
Yes. Well, I'm
I'll
not
have
sure
to
if
get this then.
there's bats in this game, but
Well,
I'm pretty sure you can.
Artrix,
Yeah.
have you ever played a Zelda game?
Yes, and
I'm
I'm pretty
pretty
sure
sure
you can
there's
throw
bats in
boomerangs.
all
Yeah,
of
it
them.
was in.
well, the feature people were very excited about was the ability to climb rocks.
Mhm.
No.
You can
So
also
it's got
you can also
parkour.
undress your Link and then let him walk into cold areas, and then it's like freezing. But then you can create a campfire, so you can still have your almost naked Link, but still not freeze to death. And the girls that are playing it were all like, "Oh, isn't it cute? Link is half naked in the snow, and we're doing
And
all this
elf
shit to
man.
keep him warm instead of just putting on a coat." Which is the
So
easiest.
you're saying it's like Skyrim meets Far Cry meets Zelda meets Shadow of the Colossus.
Yeah, it's basically trying to do all these things, and it's all in one game. So I'm really curious to see how well they actually managed to do it, because it does sound like we're trying to do a little bit too much all at once. But from what I've seen, they actually kind of managed to do it.
Grand Theft Epona.
Grand Theft Hyrule.
Well, yes, but I
And-
was
and-
trying to replace Auto with the.
Okay.
Yeah.
Makes sense.
Clever. But yeah, apparently the game world is like really fucking huge, as in what they showed us like 1% of the entire game world. And I'm not
Would you
entirely
say
sure if
it's
that's a good
right?
thing. And also that sounds like your standard marketing shit, so
Yes,
Oh,
this
no.
map is bigger than the map previously made.
but it's empty, so there's nothing to do.
Yeah, it's like GTA 5.
Wait, I never played GTA, but did you get the impression that it's just empty and there's nothing to do in that game?
Yeah, it was Ubisoft style, just minigames pasted all over for miles.
Mhm.
Sometimes
So,
sandbox games can become very kind of
Tedious.
weirdly empty.
Yeah,
Yeah,
City
it's
was
like,
nice.
no.
It becomes a second job. Like, yep, I gotta commute to work. So
Mhm.
that's exactly what I'm imagining now. It's Link. He that is. I give them props. That's the way the game starts.
See,
Link wakes
I think
up, and
that's
you
what
have to.
happens with the big open world games.
Hmm?
They get so big that one person can never explore them,
Yep.
Mhm.
But then there's the
which
internet
is
that will do it for you.
which is sort of sad, that you buy this game and no matter how long you play it, you are actually not going to explore it fully.
Hmm? So yeah, you're Link. You wake up, and you're just thrust into this world. So it basically starts like Fallout 3. But
Minecraft.
so you thrust into this world, and it's like, yeah, you're on your own, kid. So Link gets a job. He gets on his horse. He goes to his job. Spends 8 hours doing his job. Gets back on his horse. Goes back to his new house that he bought, and that's what you do for the rest of your life.
And then he gets confused on his quest, and people keep talking about a try something, and then he goes down a big, deep cave with trifoils drawn all over everything, and
Yeah.
then he dies of radiation poisoning.
And and also he gets fired from his job because he didn't show up for the daily throwing boomerangs at bats.
I have to wonder, actually, at some point in the long, long future, when humanity has died and people are digging through our old relics, and someone finds Legend of Zelda, and they read all the lore about getting the power from the Triforce, and then they read about trifoils, and they get confused, get too mixed up, and start digging up nuclear storage facilities.
Yeah, I reckon that's gonna create a kind of a warped view of everything.
Yes.
It's
I'm
like,
just waiting for an alien civilization that's not going to be able to differentiate between cartoons and actual things, because that will be fun.
mhm.
Yes.
It's like,
And
is
anyways,
this
we've we've
real?
we, we've been going on for quite a while, and I guess
Alan, shut it down.
yeah, I'll shut it down. I'll do it
Shut it
now.
down now.
So yeah, outro music's playing, so you know what that means. So yeah, thank you for watching
What
this
does it
episode
mean?
of Radio Rothingham, least professional podcast on the internet.
We have a
So,
girl.
yeah.
Yes. She's a girl. Give money to her
Okay, wow,
Patreon.
there's and she also left. I don't even pay attention to the chat because I was too busy drawing. Anyway, like, subscribe, all that good jazz, and see you guys next week for, well, you know the drill. I'm not even going to finish it. Any parting words?
Bye.
No.
Okay, well, that's good enough for me.
Yeah,